to talk to you all, and you just thank him. Thank you for sponsoring lunch today. Thank you.
Not to mention, I had to come and find out what it is that I slaved over to prepare. Did I do okay with those meatballs?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's a hidden secret family recipe. Real hidden. Thank you, glad you're enjoying it. And as my sister just said, I am a realtor. We're coming to Premier. Our office is located in Annapolis, but you or anyone you need, if you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate now or in the near future, Realtor Rico is to your rescue. I'm right here, cards just right here. I am absolutely non-aggressive when it comes to that. How in the world can you be in sales and non-aggressive? You have a need, I'm the guy for it. I literally would have been on the road about 3 hours ago, but I had a client. We've been looking in this market for a year. They saw something, a couple of things to look at today, so I postponed my road to take care of my clients, because that's what Rico does. So anybody you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, if y'all looking online, here the cards right here. I'll leave the cards here. Pick one up, take some to a friend. Thank you so much, and enjoy my meatball.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I can't stay, but Frankie Mae Foundation is right here, because Frankie Mae is here all the time. Take care. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you all for coming to our monthly meetup. Thank y'all for coming to our meetup. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to turn it over to Vanessa. Vanessa is our featured speaker today. So I'm going to turn it over to Vanessa to do what she does, and I'm going to fix me something to eat.
Maybe I should Well, hi everybody. My name is Vanessa. I use middle initial S because there's two of us running around North Carolina. My aunt Vanessa is also in Greensboro, so I always try to use Vanessa S. Haygood. But I'm a certified dementia specialist. I've been in long-term care for 30 years, but 25 of them have been with dementia specifically. It is my passion. I have tried to get away from it, and it draws me right back in. My most recent thing, I was recruited to go all the way to Rome, Georgia, to open up a memory care. So from the ground up, from the flooring to the paint color, to the situation of the room, the courtyard, and that kind of thing. So today, what we're going to kind of do is go into dementia and communications. Okay. It's a disclaimer. This is just a presentation. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to diagnose or say that I'm an expert. I'm just kind of giving you what experiences that I have, as well as things that the Alzheimer's Association also you can find on their website. So, what is dementia? I know y'all can read it, but what is dementia? What's your idea of dementia? What is dementia? Deterioration of the brain. What else?
Slowly memory loss.
Memory loss. Okay. It is not a normal part of aging. So you know when you go into the kitchen. You go and you gotta go all the way back to that is normal. It's not dementia. Okay, so I will tell you that the reason why you do that is because our brain can only hold 5 things. And once you enter the sixth thing, you lose one. And that was why you went in that room. Okay. Also, dementia also makes living independently challenging. Okay. Dementia is also the umbrella term. I always try to say, I feel like I'm in your way. It is an umbrella term just like cancer. There's all these different kinds of cancer, skin cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer. Dementia is the same way. So Alzheimer's is the most common It's one everybody knows, and it's not old timers. It's Alzheimer's. It was a man's name that actually invented it. He saw that there were little plaques in the brain. So we want to make sure that we're using the correct terms. But there's about 70 different types. Parkinson's is also a type of dementia. Vascular dementia, which is also we call as a stroke, is also dementia. So there's a lot of them. Symptom of dementia is a progressive decline in cognitive and physical functioning. That's also like you said, memory loss. But memory loss, like I said, I forgot where I was going in the kitchen, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about sequencing of things, like how to cook, how to drive, how to put on your shoes, how to go to the bathroom, those kind of cognitive functions, physical functions. Difficulty performing activities of daily living, and also increasing confusion and disorientation. The most common one is what they call sundowners. At nighttime when they start kind of don't remember what kind of do. But I will tell you a little bit something about sundowners. If you think about it, a person with dementia has all this information going in all the time, all day. And they probably have been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. They just didn't get up, but their body has been awake. So by 4 p.m., they've been up 12 hours moving around. I'm ready to go home. Why do we go home? What's our reason why we go home? To rest. So they're going home, even though they at home.
Right.
Okay, and they get real agitated because they're trying to get that stuff off of them, just to kind of release. So that's why they're trying to get home. And that nighttime is always kind of that thing. The more lights you keep on in the house, the better. Okay, so then it's always, so when you want them to go to sleep, you shut everything down. When it's dark outside, they can't, they're ready to go home and change scenes. Effects of Alzheimer's disease. I always like to show these pictures. I know they're not really that great, but it also tries to remind people that people with Alzheimer's and dementia are doing the best that they can. The parts of the brain are gone. It's gone. It's not there. So when they go to recall something, that little bank is empty, even though they've not done it all their lives. Okay. So this is why this right here is the normal brain. This is mild cognitive impairment. That's usually the first sign of. That's a grouping that they use, mild cognitive impairment. But it's going to lead to Alzheimer's every time. The reason why they know that is because it's progressive stages. You're going from not being able to do things for yourself to actually you being able to have to do some things for them, but you have to do everything for them. Effects of reasoning and logic. You know, they go outside with all the clothes on when it's 99 degrees outside, and you try to take it off of them. You know what? They ain't falling out. Give them some water. Put them in the shade. Stop. Don't fuss with them. It's okay. You know. I always try to tell people, don't argue with people with dementia unless it's causing them some kind of harm or you harm. Let them be. You know. So what? They keep messing with. They done went and took it over here and put it on. And now you made a phone call. So what you do is you just get up and you go, okay. Relationship with others change. That's your mama or your daddy. Now you become the caregiver of them. I'm gonna tell you the most difficult part for me is being a caregiver for my father. And having to see those parts that I just never wanted to ever see. But it changes our relationship that we have to now become a caregiver. It's also difficult for him, for his daughter, because he still recognizes me as being his daughter and having to take care of him. So the relationships change. And a lot of times too, because relationships change, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm the mama. And she's still doing on the southern side. So we want to kind of remember that. Impact on daily lives and life old routines. When you switch stuff up on them, you're gonna get a problem every time. Kind of keep things the same. And when I say that, when you switch stuff up, Easter with all them people at the house, Memorial Day with all them people at the house, 4th of July with all the people at the house, Thanksgiving with all the people at the house. Keep things the same. If you want to have those family functions, bring 2 or 3 people in at a time. And not a whole lot of noise and commotion. And we get really, really excited about that stuff, because we're trying to make the list and prepare all this food, and we're trying to get all this stuff. They can read our energy too. So we have to kind of keep things as normal as possible. Difficulty with personal care. A lot of times too, that's how you know somebody's got dementia as well. They're not taking good care of themselves like they used to. You know, that person that always comes to church on Sunday when they're coiffed. I mean, they are nicely dressed, nails done, everything, and all of a sudden the wig's sitting this way. You know, that kind of thing. You kind of think, wait a minute, something's a little bit off. They use visual information to figure out what to do. So they may not understand it's time to eat, but if we all start putting the silverware, here mama put the silverware on the table for me. Oh, we must be getting ready to eat. Okay, you want to kind of give them visual cues to let them know what's kind of going on. May get upset easily. How upset would you get when you know that you can put on your shoes and you can't put them on? You get upset. That's even like sometimes when you doggone, you're out with an injury, you know, and you want this foot to go ahead and get right. May attempt, we talked about that, may attempt to leave home, and difficulty in seeing other person's perspective. Talked about that too as well. You want to make sure we're not arguing with them. If it's not causing them any kind of bodily harm or you harm, you know, they're going out the door and they just peeking. But they keep going to it. Mama, why you keep going to that door? What is it hurting? They're not doing anything. I had a gentleman, I call him Willie all the time. He said he was going home. Well, and he was 250 pounds, 6'2", and I wasn't gonna stop him going out that door. I let him go out the door. It was hot, so he come right back. Right? So we would follow him, and he come on right back. And then he kept saying he was ready to go home, and it was always the same time of day, 2 o'clock. Here they go, talking about this sundowners. I was like, so I went and got him all the $80 worth of supplies, because he was a gardener. I said, let's go in. I don't want to be in this garden doing nothing, he said. And he was back at that door, going back outside at 2 o'clock. I'm going home. Well, what is it about home that you want? He said, because it's warm. We put a jacket on him, Billy sat down, and he didn't go out the door at 2 o'clock. So there's difficulty with communication, what they call behaviors. I don't like the term. The term is their way of communicating something else. We're getting on their nerves. Mainly what the problem is. But there's physical, psychological, and environmental. Number 1. Who's that? The first person up there has got a fork and a plate in front of them and a knife. We call it hangry now. We call it hangry. That's a new term for it. They may be hungry. They didn't eat a good breakfast, or in the morning time, they didn't eat anything at dinner time, so in the morning you get a grouchy person. Leave me in the bed at 10, 11 o'clock a.m. Don't come in here at 6 o'clock, come and bother me to do nothing. Because that's what you're going to get from me. Thirsty. So maybe they're up, moving around, trying to find something, because they can't remember what they're doing, but maybe they're thirsty. Offer them something to drink. Pain. How many of us get upset when we're in pain? A headache. How well do you function with a headache? And then we're all women in here. I always refer to them 4-hour shoes that gave up at 1 hour. Right? How nice are you? Right? Or you like me, I got flip-flops in my bag, so I'm always ready. But I know at that point I'm gonna be upset if something coming. Another thing is sleep. People with dementia don't sleep very well. They just don't. But like I said, because there's a whole. I also do a virtual dementia tour where you can actually put yourself in the person with dementia shoes. I want to do that too. where you can kind of go through an experience where you can kind of see all the stuff that they're going through in a day. Okay. But they may not have really good sleep. Drug interactions. If a doctor has changed their meds recently, you might get something kind of going on. Also, vision. Right? There's a shadow right there from this light. Like, what is that right there? They keep peeking at it. Somebody need to come get that stuff off that floor. Mama ain't nothing on that floor. She gonna come down here and actually on the floor, she gonna pay her. Cause she trying to get whatever it is you like. But it's just a shadow. Cause they have a really, really hard time on visual cues. Another thing is transitioning to different colors of floor. If you have carpet and then hardwood floors and dark hardwood floors, a lot of times they'll try to step up or step down because they see it as something that's a different elevation. Psychological factors. I try to think that all these are just kind of emotional things. The way that people deal with stress. We all deal with stress differently. I eat. Some people are cleaners. Some people will clean a house from top to bottom with their stress. Then there's also there's a picture of a lady with a hat on and she's in all black. So that's usually like sometime the morning time or a funeral or something like that. A lot of times you'll get a person who can kind of sense the time of the year when someone passed. And so sometimes you're going to give them behavior also because of that, especially if there was a spouse, or there's something that they're trying to correct, they lost a spouse, something tragic or something that time of the year. How do you deal with crisis? That's another thing. You know, some people just avoid it. Okay. And then also just feeling lonely. People with dementia do feel lonely. You think about it. They've had a lot of loss in their lifetime. And a lot of times they're the last one of their friends, their family, everybody. Environmental factors. This little lady is smelling a rose. But I know that as I age, because I have a healthy brain, I am able to control my response to certain smells. And the one smell that sends me off every year is when the furnace comes on. I burnt my parents' kitchen down when I was 14 years old. So now that smell sends to me fire. Where's the fire? Because what happened is I ignored it. It's why my parents' kitchen burnt down. I was upstairs on the third floor on my party line with my girlfriend. And I heard the fire alarm go off. But my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, always making some ding-dang noise. So I ignored it. I said, what is he down there doing? Hey, girl, we were going to East End all day. I tell you how old I am, but no. And then the second fire alarm went off. What is he doing? I'm still sitting in the bed talking to my girlfriend. Now the third floor fire alarm goes off. And then I'm like, oh crap, I left the grease on downstairs on the stove. House is black when I open the door. And you know, they say, get down, get low. I was trying to hear him get down. I was like, I know it's nothing. So the whole kitchen was burnt up. So that smell. But if you don't, and a lot of times we have to remember that this generation, they're 80, 90-year-old now, they have secrets that they go to the grave with. And you may not know that secret because they never told you. I don't have no children, so I don't know who my caregiver will be. So, you know, my brother knows the story. And thank God my parents we've never talked about it since all that happened. But not everybody's going to know that story. So if my brother doesn't tell my caregiver, and when that furnace smell goes on, I'm going to be looking for some kind of water to throw on somewhere. Also, they're being cold. I hope it's cold. I am too, so. When you come to my house, it's gonna feel like H-E-L-L, I'm trying to tell you. If it's 9 degrees outside, it's 9 degrees in my house. Right? Also, they kind of talked about it a little bit, environmental, like always being in a large crowd. A lot of times they can't, because what happened is, a whole bunch of people, and I don't know who these people are. And you get this little, I'm sorry if you touch on y'all, but you get this, this anxiety, and especially if they didn't ever like to be around a whole lot of people. Now you keep putting them around a whole lot of people, then you wonder why they're angry. Lighting, we kind of talk about lighting a little bit. Make sure that we also have their walkers in front of them. I'm gonna tell you right now, if your loved one has a cane, give them a walker. Why? What's the cane gonna be? A weapon. They is gonna wail that thing at you when they is tired of you. I'm trying to tell you. Get them a walker. Let's see. And independence too. Make sure that you're kind of making sure that they can do as much as they can do. That's the biggest thing. We want to help. Mama, let me help you, Mama. Mama, let me help you. And what does this right here feel like? It don't feel good, does it? That's a lot of times what they are feeling as well. And they can't communicate with you, get away or get out of my space. So, they'll swing, curse, spit, all of those things. All of the above. Behaviors in Alzheimer's disease, we kind of want to make sure that the level of dementia explains some of their behavior. The personal history can also play a role. Baby dolls. Most women are nurturers. And a lot of times, give them something to fold, give them a baby doll, and a lot of times make it a doll that has some weight to it. They have a lot of them that have kind of like bean bags in the bottom, and they will just love on that thing and keep hours and hours. And give them some baby clothes, and they'll dress them and undress them, keep them busy. Can environmental cues be causing trouble? We kind of talked about that. I was like, the lighting. If it's raining outside, there's a storm. I'm scared of storms. I have a bunker in my house because of storms. Wind, lightning, thunder, wind. That's the biggest one because I got a bunch of trees. And I have to have a bunker that's up under my stairs. But see, if y'all got dementia and y'all don't understand that I'm afraid of storms, and I start looking for somewhere to hunker down, what's wrong with this lady? The time of the day be a factor. We kind of talked about that. Say somebody, we had a gentleman all the time who would get up in the middle of the night and walk. Mr. Bob, go to bed. 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 He would go walk. And he was one of them too. He was checking locks. And in the memory care community, you don't want nobody checking lock. One of them might be unlocked. Some staff and left it unlocked. So he just checking and everything. He was a security guard of a plant at night. So his days and nights being mixed up was real. So we actually let his day started at 11 p.m. Don't try to change them for us. Let them be who they are. Delirium or dementia is a big one. If all of a sudden they have a different behavior, like they're always really, really kind of, even keel and nice, and all of a sudden, get away from me! Like, oh my, okay. There could be something going on, and I always try to tell people it's usually dehydration or a urinary tract infection. They don't wipe very well down there no more. That's where we get that from. And we don't have enough fluids in there to flush, but they done wiped up in there. I'm just saying. the more fluids. And a lot of times they won't drink a whole lot of fluids. Why? Because they gotta go to the bathroom. They get tired of going to the bathroom because it's a fuss. Because I don't remember what to do once I get in there. Okay, they go to the toilet, but then what am I supposed to do with it? And they playing in the water and everything, and they forgot why they went in there. So you want to kind of check that. Pain, insomnia, infections, like I said, medication side effects, and just unfamiliar surroundings. Don't change stuff. The big remotes that y'all change and put on these TVs, I don't know what the heck that thing is. It's okay to keep flipping the channel. Let it be. Let that be their TV. You go find you another TV. Changing the phones. Everybody want to get mama on Apple phone so I can FaceTime her. She don't know what that phone is going to do. Alzheimer's disease and communication. Language and attention deficits occur. So, if I'm standing here beside Brendolyn, and I'm sitting here like this, what does this mean? What is it telling me?
Either making sure she's not going anywhere, or she's in trouble, or closed off. Closed off.
Okay. I like all them. Come on, give me some more.
Showing strength and power or something.
Come on. I'm cold and she got body heat.
Okay.
But people read visual cues differently. Brendolyn all upset because I'm all on top of her. And then she see me all closed off, like now she upset because she done something to me. She don't know what she done to me. I'm sorry, that's what she gonna tell me. I'm sorry. And I didn't even know I did anything to her. I was just trying to get over this so I can get some beat. So we want to kind of be mindful of the visual cues that we're kind of giving somebody. We'll go into a little bit deeper in a minute. They start having word finding. It's four. Pen. She knew it was a pen, but wasn't real sure. She knew that also the fork was the same, right? So they have word finding issues. If they ask for help, then you tell them what it is. Let them kind of figure it out. Okay. The more they get so upset because I know and you're frustrating me. Also, in the final stage, you want to remember that they lose all their language. Okay, so we need to be communicating and doing a lot more touch. The older we get, the less we touch people. Infant, how much you touch a baby? Toddler, how much you touch a baby? 6 years old, how much you touch? 10, how much you touch? Right? But you have to remember with people with dementia, the more you touch, the better. How to communicate. You want to talk slowly using a friendly tone and low pitch. I have a very loud voice, and I didn't realize it. I used to scare my poor little people. Good morning! How y'all doing? Thinking they can't hear. And I said, good morning, everybody. You want to use that thing. Get a person to do something, give them short, simple, concrete information. I'm gonna pick on you now because I ain't been back here. I want you to go down to the store and get me 3 eggs and a loaf of bread. Is that short and simple?
No.
It is, right? 3 eggs and a loaf of bread.
Well, not for me.
Why is it hard for them?
You don't tell them, gave them a quantity of what happened. They
Uh-huh.
have to remember that.
How you gonna get there?
Exactly.
But another one that we always try to say, you know where your room is. It's up there on the right hand side.
Right.
Okay, like when did we learn to write from a left? Remember, there's holes in my brain. I can't remember. I I know there is a left and a right, a right and a left. I mean, but I don't remember which one. Why the shoes is on backwards too, right?
Right.
But you can tell, right? We can tell. They just gonna put them on and walk all day long. I don't even know how they get on and put it. Like, I be like, how they can you? Oh, it do go on, look at that. Right, it go on. They walking. Why mama walking like that today? I don't know. You look down and speak, and you say, Mama, why you got the shoes on backwards? Mama did the best that she could. You're lucky I got them on. I ain't throw them at you.
Yes, right.
Okay. So we want to kind of be mindful of short. Also, too, go brush your teeth. How many steps do you brush your teeth in? 5, 6, maybe. It's 14 steps. Y'all gonna brush your teeth. The first one is to go in the bathroom.
Right. Right.
Then you gotta pick up the toothbrush. You gotta pick. Oh no, every toothpaste you gotta take the lid off.
Oh,
Right?
yep.
Now you got to squeeze something and move it and put it on there. We got to cut the water on. We got to put the toothbrush under the water. Now we got to pull it out from up under the water. Now we got to put it in our mouth. Now we got the brush, right? Some people leave the water on, some people don't. Some people use a cup. 14 steps to brush your teeth. Did you just say, oh, just go in and brush your teeth? You wonder why they don't brush their teeth. That's why they don't brush their teeth. They don't even know the steps. All right. So you want to make sure that when you approach somebody with dementia, you want to kind of go slow, because this right here feels. Look at it. Some eyes got this big when I walk in up. Right? So you want to kind of make sure that you're walking up to a person really, really slow, so that you can kind of get eye contact and get them to trust you. See, so you're not real sure. Because when you rush up on somebody, my biggest example that I always try to explain to somebody, I had this little lady. I was late. We were going to Walmart. I had 3 residents. I was going to Walmart, and I was late, coming in from a meeting. And if you don't get to Walmart by 10 a.m., it gets crowded with all my little residents. I'm like, Lord, I'll do this. But they were independent enough to still go to Walmart and go shopping. So I came in the room and I was like, go ahead, put your shoes on, and I'll be right back. So I went and got the other residents to come back. And Miss Mary is sitting there in her chair. What y'all think she had done?
Nothing.
I said, put your shoes on, and I'll be right back. She heard shoes and back.
Oh,
Because she didn't know what had happened, because I came in a rush. It threw her all off. She couldn't get all the information. But she liked me. She knew she wanted to do something good. I cried because I was like, I made her do that. Like, she could put on her shoes. But because I didn't come in with the right energy, she didn't know what to do. She was going to try to make me happy. Use familiar words and phrases. Ooh, this was good. When you go to the bathroom, what do you call it? No, what's the room that you call it? Restroom, the little girl's room, the lady's room, potty, pot, letting water. Ooh, that was one. I want to let water. Right? So they kept saying let water. I don't know what letting water is. And then he whips it out and pees on the floor. That ain't my fault. That wasn't his fault. I learned now what let water was. Come on, we going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of use the familiar words. Like a lot of times we have to kind of remember, like, oh, this is a good one. People change as they get older. They become less like they used to be and more like they are. But when you have dementia, you use that filter that makes you this way, and now you go more like this. So you want to kind of remember. I had this little old lady who I had 2 fingernail colors, a pink and a red, and the mama picked the red. The daughter comes in and tells me, "Who put that red nail polish on my mom?" Me. She's like, "Oh, my mama would never pick red." Oh, okay. I said, "But she chose it." She said, "Oh no, she would never do that." I said, "Well, let me show you something." I picked them same pink and red. I said, "Which one of these you want?" She said, "The red." And the daughter just kind of sunk down in the chair. She looked like, she said, "Well, my mother always told me that red was for hussies." I was like, "Okay then, you told too." I said, so sometimes you have to kind of remember that who they are now may not have been who they used to be. Anyway, so you kind of want to be aware of those things. Like I said, people 80s, 90s, and even my mama got some stories that she's finally now coming out and telling us. There's some things they just don't tell you, and so you don't know those things about that person. If a person is distressed, you want to say it looks like or it seems like you're having a bad day. You know. And another one you don't use is calm down. Ooh, we all hate that word, don't we? When we're upset, don't say calm down till you walk away. We have a better way of being able to deal with it than they can. How much more time I got? Okay. Use visual combined with verbal. It's about time for dinner, and we want to get a plate or some pots or some kind of thing. Let's go. Let's don't use that one. Let's go to bed. Because sometimes, especially if it's a mother, son, mother. Because the mother doesn't recognize herself as being 80 years old. She's 40 years old, so her son looks a little closer to her age. So we want to kind of be right. I'm telling. I know I'm speaking to the choir for some of y'all. So you want to kind of be mindful of that. Let's go to bed. Let's go take a bath. Okay. I mean, you will see responses from them, and you be like, "Whoa, okay, let me see how to reword it to backtrack." It's time for a shower. Okay. Let's go this way. Let's go. And a lot of times you want to say, "Stand up," because boy, sometimes you gotta do all those cues. You know, now you like, "Wait a minute, where we going?" Here are your socks. Instead of saying, "Go find your socks," we want to kind of give them verbal and visual cues. Don't ask the questions you don't want to hear the answer to. Where you think I'm going? I hope you're going to. Another one they say, question you don't want to hear the answer to. Yeah, we're not with that. Limit your words and keep it simple, and wait for them to respond. Just wait for them, because a lot of times they're trying to process. Like a little lady, she's heard shoe and back. So you wonder why all of a sudden the keys is in the ear. So they didn't hear all of it. Okay. Oh my. Visual. Let's look at that one. Do not interrupt, criticize, correct, or argue. A lot of times when you get into an argument, right? Who wins? Cause then 5 seconds later, they is, hey, how y'all doing? And they done cussed you up one side and down the neck, and your feeling is hurt. And I tell you, and they is just like nothing ever even happened. So don't argue with them. Don't argue. I got this little lady, she called me the other day, she says, my mama keeps telling this story that in 1942 she took a plane to Ohio. Mama, there wasn't no plane for you to get on in 1942. It wasn't nothing but warplanes. How did you get to Ohio in a plane? Well, maybe she was in the army, she didn't tell you. Right? So what's the point? She keeps saying, Mommy, that's not the right story. You couldn't, you had, maybe you drove, maybe y'all walked. I mean, anything but you was in the. What's the point of arguing about that? Right. That's her story. Let her have it. Huh? Yeah, add to the story. Oh, and then what y'all do when y'all got there? Did you ride first class? Keep good eye contact. Never don't take negative comments personally. They're doing the best that they can. Ask a person to point or gesture they're doing something, you say, well, show me that. Show me, maybe they can show you exactly what they're doing, what they're trying to do. And get their attention by calling their name. Okay. A lot of times too, people, we kind of do this now. We want to call everybody baby, honey, sugar. Don't call me that at the restaurant. I'm just like, woo! So some people just bother and say, how can I help you? And stating their name. This and especially if you're in a setting other than your home setting, people like to call them by their last name, their married name. But don't call me none other than Miss Hager, because I ain't never been married. But I probably will be married in the next year or two, but I'm not going to remember that married name and remember my one that I've had for 51 years. Okay? So just call them by the first name.
And that's what we call it.
Yeah. Avoid asking, do you remember? Don't you remember we just did that yesterday? No. They don't remember what they ate for breakfast. So I didn't remember what they ate yesterday. In summary, Alzheimer's disease is one form of dementia. Communication style must be changed with progression of the disease. So what you're doing in the beginning stage will be totally different from what you're doing in the end stages. Remember that behavior is a means of them trying to communicate a need or something is internally going on with them differently. Caregivers must know that people with dementia cannot change their behavior. So what? We change ours. That's it.
Anybody have any questions for Vanessa? We have time for a few questions, and then I need to go over some stuff, and then we'll go to our guided meditation. But any questions for Vanessa?
I have one. Have they found out anything that can kind of help dementia, like any kind of medication or?
For you?
No, like for the like for a person that has it, like dementia, have they found anything that can kind of help?
There are medications that will slow the progression of the disease. It's a terminal disease. It's just, I try to tell people, people with dementia, that's just what it is. It's not going to change what you can do. I have found out that your gut is the most important thing is your survival. So the better you eat, exercise, the gut is so important. So important.
And speaking of the medications, because like in the beginning and middle stages, Mama was on like Melinda and stuff like that, and it got to the point where it was no point. The medications it was no point.
I have one more.
Sure.
Cause I know like when my neighbor, when her mom had it, her mom wouldn't eat, and I think she said, does the brain tell them not to eat or anything like that?
It depends on the parts of the brain that are affected. The brain stem controls the desire to eat. Then you also have the sequencing of eating. Like, what do I do next? So if you don't help them, and finger foods is the best thing you can ever give them. A fork and a knife and a spoon and stuff. Think about that as an infant, right? What's the first thing you learn how to do? No. Suck. That's the first thing you learn how to do. Then what did we give you? Finger foods. Them little crackers, them little cereal little things. My mama gave us crackers. One of them cereal things. Then there was the spoon, right? Then the fork. Then the knife. My niece 15, she still having a hard time with a knife. So you just think about, you put all that stuff in front of them, what the heck I'm supposed to do with it? Give them a spoon. Give them finger foods. And give them a hamburger. Don't give them no Asian wrap. They don't know what the heck that thing is. Hot dog. They know a hot dog. They know exactly what to do with put some little mustard and ketchup on it. And I know we try to talk about, the quality of food, but guess what? They eat, and sometimes you have to figure out what your battle want to be.
Right. Cause that's how I was with Mama. The nurse was like, listen, if she's eating, let her eat.
If it's
Forget
chicken
about
nuggets
sugar.
every day,
You don't care about
sugar,
none of that.
salt,
Let them eat.
none
Yeah,
of
just let them eat.
let them eat.
Let them eat.
Let them eat.
At least they're getting something.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Well, another round of applause. Thank you.